Hey y'all, and welcome to the Max Life. So interesting things about to go on in the kitchen. I do have some jars right here that are hot and sterilizing. I like to barter. I've told y'all that a lot before. Here is 3 Walmart bags of some pears right out of a neighbor's yard. So I took her some soap and a fresh flower arrangement in exchange for a couple of pears. Now, a couple of us really like pears, some really don't. I like these cannon pears, obviously, when they're not real hard. They're a little bit more cooked down. Colby likes what's called pear salad, even though he doesn't really eat it that much anymore. So it's basically just where you take these pears, you cut them in half, add mayonnaise in the middle, and sprinkle them with cheese on top. Sometimes I make my mayonnaise, and sometimes I just get the avocado mayonnaise from the store, which is your best option, I guess, if you're going to buy mayonnaise from the store. So I am about to get these washed. I'm about to get them cored, peeled, and cut into fourths. Then they are going to go into some syrup, which I have not started yet, over into my jars. I'm going to leave them in a hot water bath for in and out, and then they'll go over on the shelves. And like Eliza likes to eat them right out of the jar. Colby likes them as pear salad, and I actually prefer them the most when they're more like applesauce. The next thing that's got to go down beside the pears is, yes, that is beeswax. So I am going to start the process of rendering that. It is not a complicated process. It is just messy and a little time consuming. So I'm gonna try to go ahead and get this under my belt. I actually have some beeswax in my soap making and homemade making stuff. It's actually right here. I'm gonna show y'all what I have done in the past. This is what the final product will look like. You see those blocks of beeswax. I've proudly done those. So this is the goal at the end of the session, is to get that cleaned up, get the nasty stuff out of the wax, pour them over into my molds, which is right here. And then once those set up, I am able to pop those out and store them. I use wax in sunscreen, in diaper rash ointment, chapstick, any kind of salve that I make. The beeswax is absolutely perfect for that because it gives it really the consistency in salve and sunscreen and beeswax. It really is the consistency behind it, and not to mention it's waterproof. Probably be little talking today, because you see there's a whole lot more going on outside, which means we are making progress, which is a good thing, but it's probably gonna be a whole lot less talking and a whole lot more of y'all watching today, because, is that loud, Levy? Yeah. That's very loud. Okay, I have gone down to the barn. One of the things that I told you guys, whenever you do beeswax, one thing that is for sure is you have to have items set up literally just for that, because it is impossible. You just cannot clean all the wax off of your stuff. It is just impossible. So when you decide to render wax, you need a couple of items that you can set aside just for wax. So this is an old pot I have, and obviously I'm not using this. I'm just going to dump my wax over in this. Now, what I do for my straining method is I have a cheesecloth, and I actually have the can of green beans like that you can get from the store, like those big cans, and actually saved a couple of those from a church function. And that is actually what I strain once I have all of this melted down. That is what I actually strain my wax over into. And I will show y'all that in just a minute. These are what I was talking about. So I have a couple of these. And what I do is I have some old cheesecloth. And once I get all of the wax rendered down, I take my pot and I put water in it and I get it boiling and go dump all of that off. Then I do the same thing again and drop my cheesecloths down in there, get them boiling, shake them off as much as I can, because what I'm doing is trying to loosen that wax up. So what I'm going to be doing with this cheesecloth basically is, you see how I have it sitting over the top of this, and I will get some clothespins and connect this here and let the wax run through this cheesecloth, and the yucky stuff will all pile up on the top. My melted wax will go down to the bottom, and that is how I render my first wax. Then once this is hardened, I pop this out of this tin can, and it has some water on the bottom, so it allows me to easily pop this out of the can. I take my pot that you guys seen on the stove, melt this wax back down, then I take it in this funnel, put my strainer cloth through it again, my cheesecloth in it again to act as another strainer. Molds, which I actually bought this for butter, but they pop out really nicely where you have bars of wax that you can just shred. This is all like soap molds, this was donut molds, and this was actually a beeswax block. Now, before I put these down on my counter and start going crazy with pouring the wax in, you really want some parchment paper or wax paper, something along those lines, down on your counter, because scraping wax from all off your counter is not fun. Ask me how I know. That's because I've done it before. Okay. I had the camera right here beside me. The kids distracted me wanting something on the phone. Let me tell you one thing you don't need to do is take your eyes off of your wax, because wax is flammable. Thankfully, we got this out really fast, but I literally had a little fire on top of my stove. That is not cool, y'all. Hence, all the smoke you see going up in the air. Not cool. That could have been really bad. Thankfully, we were able to get it out really fast. I didn't. And I wasn't out of the kitchen. I was just on the other side of the kitchen, and it got so hot it started boiling over and went on the eye. Now I have a very smoky house, so the doors are open, but that could have been really bad had I not been in here and that boiled over. The pears are done. I think I have most of the mess that I made from the beeswax up. There's still going to be some places that I'm going to try to get up. Of course, you can see this is what I was telling you. Once wax gets, it is just unbelievably hard to get up. So here's what happened. Aiden had ordered something, and it was glass. It come in, he dropped it on our concrete floors, and it broke. So Aiden and his girlfriend's 1 year anniversary, like of their first date, official date, whatever you want to call it. So he had ordered something for her and dropped it on the ground. So he was really upset. I grabbed my phone. I was going to reorder it for him. And I was right here actually where the peaches were, and we were talking. I didn't realize how hot the wax was getting, and it boiled up and over. So it was all over here, and when I slid the pot off, I guess I did know that wax was flammable, and it is flammable. When I slid it off, I guess that oxygen hit it and made it a little bit more hot, and it literally caught fire, had a mini fire on the stove. But thankfully we were able to handle all of that very quickly. Like I said, I've gotten most of it cleaned up except for just a little bit. I'm gonna have to come back through. Like it's still, yeah, see, it's still on the pot back here a little bit. I've kind of got to just juggle pots around and get that done. But I needed to get my pears up because they were done. And I'm gonna have to get this poured up because it is ready. And I'm gonna show you, if you look down in here, it's all liquid now. But then you have these nasty brown particles, that is what I'm straining out. So I melted all that down to strain out that nasty brown stuff, and I'm about to do that over in my container, and I will not be able to remelt it down today. I'll wait till it turns to a solid block. I'll melt it down again, then I will actually pour it over into my molds, but that won't happen today. I'm just gonna set this to the side. After we do school tomorrow, that's gonna be one of the first things I knock out, is handling the rest of the wax. Guys, this is the finished product. This is what it looks like under this, but it just hasn't dried yet. So tomorrow it'll look totally different than even this. It has not solidified. It's actually still really, really hot. Y'all see that it's still liquid. This is what you're straining off, and under this is your clean wax. So it is a pretty cool concept. Now I have boiling water in this pot because it is literally the only way I can clean out the gunk, is to bring this to a full rolling boil, and really any way that you can actually break wax down is by getting the temperature up really, really high. Now, before I let you guys go, I want to show you an update on what the guys were working on today. So I'm going to give y'all a sneak peek at kind of the setting that this will be or feel like when we're done. Now, this right here will be an entrance to this side of the farm, which is where my kitchen garden is, my main greenhouse, and my high tunnel is right over on the other side. So heading out this door will basically take me down to all of those areas. We will have big windows for that sunroom feel here. This will also be a window, and I cannot remember, I think there's going to be another window on this other side. So 2 windows and a door. This door, of course, will take us to the other side of the house, and will also be our entrance into the pool gate eventually. So this is what it looks like right now, y'all. We are very excited to have this extra space. We will not start taking down, obviously, any of this until this is completely framed in. Well, it's framed in, but completely closed in. The guys are going to work and get it just like it's supposed to be. Then we will start taking this wall down. That door will be moved over. That window will be moved out. That window will be moved out, which means we only had to order 2 more and maybe 1 more. If I cannot remember if we decided to put a window over there, but I think we did. So sneak peek of what this is going to look like. I'm really excited. I'm not going to close off these windows during the day. I'm just going to do the up and down pulls to have that outside view. So it is very exciting. This is the space that we've kind of needed as our family has grown, our table's grown, and definitely the area where we sit and eat is definitely not feasible for us anymore. So it is excited. Like I told y'all before, the main structure is already here. Some of that brick is going to be left exposed up there. So of course you'll see this is the back side of our fireplace. You'll see that. You'll see the brick up there going across, and then we will have that, of course, edged out where it just won't be raw, of course. And then all of this will be taken out, so it'll just have its own little sunroom, dining room, official dining room kind of feel. So it is very exciting. I want to give y'all an update there. And guys, we are going to wrap it up for the day. School. Y'all know that we've kicked off with school. Usually I'm not in the kitchen or available to do outside things typically until 1 or 1:30. So when I started on pears today, I was able to knock all the pears out after school and lunch. So I'm the teacher, I'm the principal, I'm the cafeteria lady, and the farmer, you know, all the stuff in one. So after school, I'm the cafeteria lady. We get everybody fed, we get the kitchen cleaned up, and then I usually kick right into homesteader mode, which is we got the pears done, I've got the beeswax done. Now it's time to roll into supper. The kids had been out swimming this afternoon until you heard the thunder. So a storm has rolled in, but I'm not gonna complain. It has not really been that hot these past couple of days. The rain setting on the ground is making our grass beautiful. When the grass is beautiful and growing, that means our animals are getting fed well. our gardens, we don't have to worry about watering. I'm not complaining after the drought that we went through last year. So the beautiful steady rain is kind of set in for today. So we are actually gonna call it a day. We are having a almost hibachi style. We're doing rice and chicken and broccoli on the grill. Probably throw some squash and zucchini on there too. So that is what's for supper, guys. I'm gonna kick that off and get that started. Thank you always for joining along, watching everything that we do. It's always a pleasure for us to show y'all what we're doing, because we want y'all to grow and learn, see the things that we do every day, so that you know that you can do it too, no matter how busy sometimes we think we can get and we can be. There's always times to stop and make that things that are priority for you. You can get them done, guys. You just have to say, you know what, we're gonna do it. And we want to show you how we can take that same principle. We're not just telling you to do it, we're applying it. We know things that have got to get done, and we're gonna say we're gonna roll up our sleeves and do it, no matter how crunched for time we are, no matter how busy we think we may be. It's important to us, so we want to get it done. As always, thank you guys. God bless and happy homesteading, y'all.